There you go. So I wanted to have a chat to you about my personal Yowie experiences and show you what went down, right? Yeah, okay. So I've got the whiteboard here to show you like what part of it's on the same block, right? But to be honest, I think they're two different Yowies, but they're just both black. Now, right, see how I'm going to draw it. Okay, I'll do a close-up shot for you, and you'll hear me talk, and I'll show you, okay? Righto, so this is going to be like an aerial view of what happened. So the first time, imagine, so this is real basic, right? So here's the boundary fence. That's one side of this block, right? And I was coming up the side of it on a quad, right? And there's like an old track, like an old road. It's a dirt road, and it comes along here like this, right? And then gets to about here. And there's a giant, like this thing is massive. This is a mango tree, right? And that boundary fence, like there's a gate there, okay, but that's always closed. Then it keeps going this way. And so this is all bush. And then on the other side of that is the beach, okay? So I was coming along here, and what happened was there was like a knocked over tree that was here, and it was hanging on the fence. So I cut that with a chainsaw, and I moved it and got rid of it, got it out of the way. So it kept coming. And then here, it was all overgrown, pretty hectic. There was a tree that had fallen over this way, right? And it was pretty big. It was a massive tree. And so what happened was, and then I've had to ride the quad over it to get over, right? And we're drinking piss, and there's music playing, and I had two dogs with me. I had my nephew as well. I can't remember if my nephew was on this one. I know that my nephew was on the other one when I seen the other Yowie, but I can't remember who was with me when I seen this one. Right, so coming up here on the quad, I've gotten to here, and I've put the wheels, the front wheels of the quad to go over this big tree, right? And there he was sitting here like this, like lying down on his side. And I come up here, right? And that's where he was. And then so, like, when I've seen him, as soon as I've seen him, he's taken off up this track, like, and I'm telling you, flying, like, it was a flash. And it wasn't a pig, just because by the way it moved, but this one that I seen, it had more of like a definitive head, like I could see a head on its shoulders, okay? So anyway, kept going, and like, okay, so that was the one time we seen it then, right? So this is now, but you see the thing is, to get in there, you have to go along here. You have to go through all this bush and make your own track to get to that road, and then the road will take you to the mangrove tree, right? And so that was one experience. Now this is another encounter, right? So I've done the same thing, but I didn't see nothing, and then I've come in here, gone up to here, right? And then so the track goes two ways. It goes this way and it goes that way, right? And all this here is salt pans, pretty much. So this is all bush. So pretty much like this whole area here is bush. Okay. And there's a hut here. It's like an old just crappy hut, and doesn't mean nothing. But all this is pretty much bush. All that's bush as well. Okay. And so here's this dirt track. Now it gets to here, and all this is pretty much salt pans. Okay. Salt pans. Now what happened was, so this is all open. Okay. And pretty much there's a big creek that runs like along here. Okay. And it comes right up. And what happened was, so yeah, this is all open. There's like mangroves, right, that go like this. Okay, so they're mangroves all in here. And then there's mangroves on this side as well, and they sort of go like that, right? And there's a gap you can get through. So I've gone through this gap, and I was on a quad, and I'm going pretty fast, probably 60 k's an hour or something. Come out here, and then here there's like bush, right? But it's further, like the whiteboard's not big enough for me to, like the block's huge, you know, but this is just a basic thing, right? And so the bush is here, all right? Now, this thing I seen was right here. I've come flying through this bend, right? And there he was. He's had his back to me, and I'll draw what he looked like from the back. So it was literally like massive, broad, flat shoulders like this. Okay, that's how I knew it wasn't a pig, because it was like there was no head. It was like that. Okay, from one side to the other, and then but then in the center, like here, there was a tuft of hair that was sticking up, and it was a different color. It had like a grey tinge in it, if you know what I mean. But this was black, the same color as what a boar is. Okay, and so I come flying, and it was squatted too. Sorry, so and it sort of tapered down, like, you know what I mean? Like it was massive, and then taped down to like a skinny waist, right? And that's all I could really see. I couldn't see any legs because of how low it was. But the height of this thing, right? The height of here, it was the same size. I had a Honda. It was a Honda 500 Foreman. You know, quad. That's a pretty decent size. They're not monstrous, but they're, you know, pretty big. This thing would have been the same size as it squatting down. You know, and then what happened was, so yeah, it's obviously heard me, because, you know, I'm coming from here to there. It's heard me, and then just shot off, just like sort of like leapt to its right. You know what I mean? Like dove in here, and then see, my nephew was on the back of the quad, and I was riding it, and I haven't seen him in a while, so I'll have to get him, and we can all talk about it. But so right, and then what happened is I camp up here on the creek. So further down here, that's where I go camping. Okay, so yeah, it's just darted in there, and I didn't think too much of it. I thought it was weird, right? But I didn't really know what it was. Okay. Then, so this is the same trip. So that happened the one day. This was another day. And then so what happened was, anyway, I've gone up here, gone to the campsite, we've started mucking around, put the fishing lines in that. And then we've come back, right, me and my nephew, and we've come under the tree. You know, there was heaps of mangoes hanging off the tree that were like, I always took note of all this stuff, but didn't link anything together. All of the mangoes, right, you know what a mango looks like? Here's the shape of a mango. The mangoes were bitten, this section was bitten off, gone. You know what I mean? And so that's the top of it, so that would hang off the tree. All of the bottom section was bitten off, and it just had the seed. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, whatever this thing is, it must get a mango and literally just bite the bottom end, because I suppose that's where all the sweet part of the mango would be. I don't know, I'm not a mango man. But must bite the whole bottom end off and then just chuck it. Because like heaps, they were all over the floor around this thing, right? Anyway, so we come up here, you know, and we're drinking, carrying on. You know, we would have been making heaps of noise and that. And then we were there for probably 5-10 minutes or something, because we were waiting for a couple of mates of mine to come too. And it was almost like someone had like got a Mack truck and just driven it flat out through the bush here, right? And it was ridiculous, like the noise. It was almost like a family of pigs running together sideways through the scrub. It was pretty hectic, you know. So they're my two experiences, and yeah, I'm pretty sure that Yowie's eating the mangoes, right? So that's where we're at. They're my two experiences. Now, the first one that I seen that was off that log, to me it looked more like a gorilla, but like bigger and faster. You know what I mean? Not leaner too. That one was leaner than a gorilla. You know, gorillas are. This one, the second one, looked more like a gorilla, like the size, the width of the shoulders. Yeah, but. You know, they're not hectic stories, but it's like the things must be almost part deaf. You know what I mean? Because I've got a big Honda Foreman, we have beats playing, you know, I'm full throttle sort of person, you know, and the first time we literally snuck up on it. You know what I mean? Like, I was nearly right over it, you could almost say. Second time, I come flying out the bend and it's sitting at the bush facing the other way. And where it was squatted, I ended up going back there, you know, because I wanted to see what it was doing there. Right, so it was squatted over like a mark in the ground, and I didn't know what the mark was. It didn't look like no Bigfoot. You know how Bigfoot have like their fucking their like trademark footprint in the ground. It didn't look anything like that. I'd never really seen it before, this thing, and the footprint, the indentation in the ground that was there, it was really deep, and the salt pans had dried up. So whatever it was had stepped in it when it was wet, and then it dried up. So it was an old mark. But this thing was like sitting over it. Must have been looking at it. Yeah. So the other thing I wanted to tell you is I do heaps of like research and stuff, and listen to people's stories. I'm going to create a playlist in my, like, you know, when you go on my YouTube channel, you'll be able to find a playlist of all the stuff that's worth actually watching and listening to. Like, because there's a lot that's crap, you know, that's no good. So yeah, you'll be able to see that, what I think is worth listening to, what's good, and get an idea of what's going on. But so the other thing I wanted to say is, I think the government already know about Yowies, right? And I believe that they are the missing link, because at the moment it's called a missing link, and what it is it's pretty much, if you look at the evolution of man going from primates, from monkeys to cavemen, right? There is a monkey that's missing between the monkeys and the cavemen. There's no link, right? So the missing link. So that's what I believe this is. And the reason why the government have not told us is because it rules out religion. That's the truth. And so religion is $1 billion a year industry for the donations and crap that go to all the church and that. Like, if this thing got out, that means, same as aliens, if it was proof that, you know, aliens and these things existed, so this thing is proof that we evolved from monkeys. If we evolved from monkeys, then God did not create us in his image. You know what I mean? Because we have turned into something else. That's where religion stuff's up. Okay, so if I catch a Yowie, that means that I've pretty much like proven that religion's false. Yeah. And the other reason about aliens, if the government tell everyone that aliens exist, then it gets rid of the fact that God created the heavens and the earth. You know what I mean? So you got heaven, the earth, and hell. Heaven's where you go if you're good. Hell's where you go if you're bad. Earth is just where we all are until we, get, checked out by God to see where we go. So if there's aliens on another planet, then that means that yet another theory of the Bible is wrong. Yeah. I don't believe in the Bible at all, because the Bible was written by men. I do believe in a higher being, though. We can talk about that on another episode, though, if you like. So anyway, yeah, you have a look at the playlist I'm going to put up. There's stuff that's worth watching. I'm going to put some funny stuff in there too. So, yeah. All right, cool. That's my experiences anyway. If you've had an experience, leave your comments in the little comment section, and we'll have a yarn about it. Oh yeah, one thing. So like the theory of werewolves. So in a lot of the stories that I've heard, there's a lot of Yowies that have been spotted have elongated snouts. So that means they have like a head like a dog. You know what I mean? Like humans have a flat. They don't have a snout, right? I personally think, like, because the world's a pretty rough place, and I know that, like, as bad as it is, rapings do happen by males that have too much testosterone. I think that you get one of these Yowies, right, that's pretty toey, and if it comes across some big wolf, I really wouldn't be surprised if it scotches it, and yeah, that's how you get like interbreeding going on. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is some hybrid ones out there that, and then people have seen that and boof, there's a werewolf, mate, There's so much to the earth that no one knows about. So yeah. Anyway, like and subscribe, fellas. We've got more hot action.